Mindfulness. Prevent worrying and anxiety with mindful thinking. Written by Erica Showdown. Narrated by Sarah Margrave. Table of Contents. Chapter 1. Mindfulness Exercises. Chapter 2. Scientific Ways to Boost Your Brain Health. Chapter 3. How to Stop Buying the Negative Thoughts of Depression. Chapter 4. Stop worrying by staying present with mindfulness. Chapter 5. How to become more conscious in your everyday life. Chapter 6. How to eliminate job stress after work. Chapter 7. Fitting it into your busy schedule. Chapter 1. Mindfulness Exercises. Though we may not understand it, using our focus on our tech drains energy, and we can end up getting attention fatigue without truly understanding why. A sort of chronic sleepiness can emerge. We might not feel bad precisely, but we sure don't feel very good either. We need to take conscious breaks, which help us pay attention to the present moment, to overcome this attention fatigue. If you're uncertain how conscious you are to begin with, you may want to take this short well-being test, which tells you your scores for mindfulness and other aspects of wellness. Now what do? Try these 4 steps to make mindfulness workouts a part of your regimen. Number 1. Take breaks from innovation and media. To be more mindful and get rid of attention fatigue, we initially really need to take breaks from media and technology to give our attention a break. However, naturally, the majority of us cannot avoid technology forever. We still have to live our lives. So, to maintain our joy, we really need to regularly take part in corrective experiences or go to restorative environments, which is in itself a mindfulness exercise, to develop our mindfulness skills. Number 2. Have restorative experiences. Corrective experiences are those that have 3 parts. They are different from our typical routine. They're remarkable to some extent, and they fit your needs and interests. Although a lot of experiences could be corrective, it ends up that getting out in nature tends to be one of the best ones because it so quickly pleases these 3 requirements. For example, to get to nature, the majority of us have to step out of our routine lives and do something a bit different. In nature, there are unlimited things to stimulate fascination: trees, plants, animals, and other sights that we are not used to seeing. Walking in a nearby park or spending an afternoon in a botanical or community garden appears to be enough to satisfy our need to escape and experience fascination. This kind of mindfulness exercise helps us overcome our attention fatigue so that we can be more present. Number 3. Plan for your little vacations. It might seem hard in the beginning to find these experiences. Who has the time, energy, or cash to truly get away? We may need to go to a local park instead of our dream beach getaway to reboot our conscious self. So take a minute now to think of what sorts of restorative experiences would work for you. Be sure to think of some experiences you could have in nature, but feel free to involve other places too. For example, you might try going to an art gallery, an automobile show, an animal shop, a local farm, a musical event, or any number of other events that are different, interesting, and intriguing to you. Number 4. Stick to your mindfulness exercises. Schedule a time to try a bunch of these experiences. Spend at the very least 10 to 15 minutes in the corrective environment, but the longer the better. And when you're done, review how it made you feel. Preferably, try some different experiences to see which ones work best for you. Nonetheless, remember that if you continue going to the exact same place, the advantages are likely to decline. So make certain you have several restorative environments to select from. Ideally, you'll get a chance to feel more conscious, even if only for some minutes a day. Chapter 2. Scientific Ways to Boost Your Brain Health. Your brain is a complex and dynamic structure, consisting of about 86 billion neurons or afferent neurons. Each nerve cell is connected to countless other nerve cells, forming elaborate networks of neural connections that send information to help us perform important functions like breathing, moving, remembering, reacting to threats, gaining from experience, controlling impulses, and forming attachment relationships. Cultivating ideal brain health is the structure for healthy and effective living, learning, and loving. Research shows that you can enhance brain power by living much healthier, napping, and practicing mindfulness, which has been revealed to alter the physical structure of the brain in advantageous ways. Below are 6 useful ways that you can improve brain health. Number 1. Eat a Mediterranean diet. Incorporating more fruits, veggies, and lean protein sources in your diet can help safeguard your brain, according to the current research. A 2017 study by researchers at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland revealed that eating a Mediterranean diet may protect against memory and thinking damage relating to aging. This kind of diet plan consists mainly of olive oil, veggies, fruits, fish, beans, dairy, and healthy grains, and less white processed flour, red meat, and sugar. In this research study of practically 1,000 people, elderly adults who followed the Mediterranean diet principles more carefully were less likely to lose overall brain volume over a 3-year time period. Various other studies suggest that consuming extra virgin olive oil, which is a very large part of the Mediterranean diet, can protect memory and learning capability. Number 2. Eat a ketogenic diet plan. A ketogenic diet plan includes low carbohydrate intake and higher fat consumption, in addition to moderate protein. The Atkins diet plan is an example of a ketogenic approach to eating. The idea is to consume about 70% calories from fat, 20 to 25% from protein, and only 5 to 10% from carbohydrates. Research studies show memory advantages of a ketogenic diet plan in mildly memory-impaired adults, type 1 diabetics, and individuals with Alzheimer's. The impacts of this kind of diet on healthy adult brains haven't been too studied. The idea behind a ketogenic diet is that when the brain can't depend on carbs to get the glucose it needs, your body produces ketones from fats in the liver, which function as an alternate source of brain fuel, increasing your brain and body's efficiency in burning fat for energy. Number 3. Eat brain-healthy foods. Certain healthy fruits and vegetables have been revealed to anticipate improved performance on cognitive and memory tests and higher levels of healthy brain chemicals. Nuts contain magnesium, which benefits memory. In a 2015 study from UCLA, walnut consumption was related to higher cognitive test scores. Avocados are high in monounsaturated fats, shown to protect brain cells. Blueberries, leafy green vegetables like kale, peppermint tea, coffee, and almonds have all been linked to healthy brain substances or improved memory efficiency. Blueberries consist of antioxidants that improve brain health and also have anti-inflammatory properties. Number 4. Take a 40-minute nap. Sleeping gives your brain and body a chance to repair work cells, combine memories, and recharge itself. Sleeping well can enhance memory and cognitive function, and heart function also. Studies show taking a snooze helps us retain new information better. In one research study, participants memorized detailed cards to check their memorization abilities. After remembering a set of cards, they had a 40-minute break in which one group snoozed and the other stayed awake. After the break, the group who had taken a snooze performed better on a test of their memory of the cards. Sleeping is pushing memories from the hippocampus to the cortex, which enables more permanent storage and integration with other info. Number 5. Get up and get active. Anaerobic exercise has been displayed in numerous research studies to have a host of brain and memory benefits, while sedentary behavior has been linked to obesity and elevated mortality. In a research study presented at the 2016 meeting of the Radiological Society of North America, scholar Laura D. Baker from Wake Forest University and her colleague compared the impacts of aerobic exercise to stretching in adults with mild cognitive problems. Both groups exercised 4 times a week over a 6-month period. While both groups experienced a boost in brain volume in specific parts, the aerobic exercise group revealed greater gains. According to Dr. Kim, the co-investigator on the study, compared to the stretching group, the aerobic activity group had a lot more preservation of overall brain volume, increased local gray matter volume, and increased directional stretch of brain tissue. Number 6. Practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness is a meditation practice and attitude to living that trains the brain to fixate on the present moment with open, compassionate, non-judgmental awareness rather than just responding automatically, being self-critical, and surviving on autopilot. A meta-analysis, analytical evaluation, of over 20 neuroimaging studies from 300 meditation practitioners revealed that mindfulness resulted in considerable medium influence-size changes in 8 different brain parts consisting of areas connected with memory debt consolidation, hippocampus, body awareness, self-awareness, feeling regulation. Maybe this is the reason that so many large businesses, like Google, have acknowledged mindfulness training for their workers. We can all give our brains a healthy reboot by following research-based concepts for living, eating, sleeping, exercising, and handling our tension. Chapter 3. How to Stop Buying the Negative Thoughts of Depression. Millions of males and females experience depression each year. Being depressed is a miserable experience, as I know not just from my medical work, but from personal experience. It's hard to feel fully alive when you're down all the time and struggling to find pleasure in any activity. Poor sleep, low energy, psychological fog, and other symptoms add to the pain. While there are effective forms of treatment for depression, many individuals do not find them valuable or get only minimal relief. This is an example. In the STAR-D trial, one of the largest depression treatment research studies to date, only about 1/3 of depressed participants were depression-free after 12 to 14 weeks of treatment with a selected serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI. That was a much better outcome than placebo, but it left 2 out of 3 people with considerable signs of continuous depression. Efficient forms of psychotherapy, like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, result in similar outcomes, with many individuals enhancing, but great deals continuing to have a problem with signs. Combining medication and psychotherapy, while marginally better, is not the magic bullet of depression treatment. For instance, in the STAR-D research study, about half of depressed participants were still depressed, even after 12 weeks of medication plus 12 weeks of cognitive treatment. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. These limitations have caused the search for other potentially practical treatments. I just recently talked to psychoanalyst Dr. Stuart Essendrath about one such treatment called mindfulness-based cognitive treatment, MBCT. As the name suggests, it combines the best-tested psychotherapy for depression with practices in conscious awarenessness, which includes focusing on the present and letting go of resistance to reality. Most kinds of psychotherapy fixate on attempting to get rid of symptoms. Conventional cognitive treatment, for instance, teaches an individual to recognize and challenge the negative automatic thoughts that are really common in depression. So if your mind tells you, "You're such a moron, you're always screwing things up," your therapist would work with you to determine those thoughts and consider the evidence for and against them. Together, you would intend to develop more effective and fact-based points of view. MBCT offers a very different method in which you would work to alter how you associate with depressive thoughts. Eisendrath used this valuable metaphor to clarify. If you're walking down the main street of town, you could see certain storefronts with different depressive thoughts on display, he said. Normally, in depression, you would get into the store and buy those thoughts, and after that return out and start walking down the street having those thoughts with you. Cognitive treatment would also include going into the store and directly engaging with the thoughts. You may point out to the shop owner that the thoughts on display are misleading, accuse them of false advertising, and need that they change the thoughts. Maybe the shop owner would nod understandingly, agree with all your viewpoints, and then refuse to alter the display at all. By contrast, a mindful response to the thoughts includes seeing them through the window without going into the store. You notice the depressive thoughts in the store, said Eisendrath, and you don't get rid of observing those thoughts. However, you do not go in and buy them, and you don't need to carry them with you as you decrease the street. This approach can be really useful for the ones that struggle to change their negative perspectives, which, in my experience, is a pretty large percentage of adults with depression. Even when they know logically that their thoughts are unrealistically negative and that they're being too hard on themselves, the thoughts stubbornly continue. And ironically, debating with your negative thoughts can make them appear more vital, like an issue that has to be solved before you can carry on and be in your life. A mindful response to depressive thoughts allows you to let go of the struggle with them and to simply exist side by side alongside the thoughts. You have the ability to continue walking down the street, said Eisendrath, and you can still go where you want in life, even with the negative automated thoughts in your head. Mindful responses to depression symptoms. There are countless techniques for responding mindfully to depressed mindsets. What all of them have in common is bringing our attention to what's happening at this moment and adopting a mindset of approval. Simply remaining in this moment helps diminish depression because you're not laying on the negative story about the future, said Eisendrath. You're just concentrating on the present. Here are some practices for changing your relationship with depressive thoughts. Be present in your body. Connecting with the body is just one of the most effective ways of releasing resistance and bringing your attention into the present. Eisendrath advised asking yourself questions like, what do I notice as I'm depressed right in this moment? A tension in the shoulders or chest? A headache? Instead of making these sensations a problem, wonder about your experience. What's going on in my body right now? Breathe. Just like the body, Your breath is always there with you. Practice breathing with your inner thoughts, emotions, and physical feelings. As the body opens up to the breath, let your spirit open up to your experiences just like it is. Fixate on your senses. When you find yourself stuck in negative patterns of thoughts, then come to your senses. Thoroughly note something you see, something you hear, and a touch sensation that you understand. The aim is not to push the negative attitude to stop, but to change the channel, expanding your attention past the narrow spotlight of upsetting thoughts. Do what matters. Depression often promotes a concentration on how we're feeling, why we feel that way, and how we can get rid of bad feelings. Doing something essential to you can be a really mindful way to break depression's preoccupation with itself. Rather than concentrating on how you're feeling, ask yourself what needs to be done. Taking out the trash, doing the dishes, writing an email that you have been postponing. Let the action be as huge or as little as you can manage. Perhaps at this time it's simply brushing your teeth. Seeing ourselves move through depression is just one of the most efficient ways to change our relationship with difficult thoughts and feelings. Chapter 4. Stop worrying by staying present with mindfulness. Excessive concern seems to continue to be on the rise, even affecting teens more than ever, and can have disastrous repercussions. Worry and stress can contribute to sleep issues, which can have serious implications, physical issues, and obviously psychological health problems, including full-blown anxiety conditions. Let's fixate on a crucial mind hack that will help you to keep your fretting in check and decrease stress. The value of staying present in the moment. One key mind hack to keep your concern at bay is an easy concept, but can be more difficult to implement when your concern gremlins begin to rear their ugly heads. It's pretty difficult to worry when you are focused just on the present moment that you are in. Worry is generally always about the future, and occasionally about the past. It is almost unrealistic to be restless or worried when your mind is in the here and now. The role of mindfulness. Staying present is simpler said than done. There are a lot of interruptions in your life and things to remember. Concentrated on anything except for the present moment. In reality, concern is really just protecting in a few ways to help us anticipate dangerous circumstances. That is one reason it can be so hard to shut stress off. One of the best tools to practice staying present is mindfulness. Mindfulness is basically an accepting, open, non-judgmental, and curious concentration on someone's psychological, cognitive, and sensory experience in the present moment. Simply put, mindfulness exists moment self-awareness. You can practice conscious consciousness of the present moment at any time, or cultivate a mindfulness meditation practice in which a certain time of your day is dedicated towards practicing mindfulness meditation. Practical tips for being more conscious. Finding 20 minutes a day or more to sit down and meditate might appear near to unrealistic. The good news is that you do not need to cultivate a continuous meditative practice in order to gain the rewards of being more mindful in your daily life. The exact same mobile phone that can quickly take you out of the present moment can also act as a reminder for you to go back to the present moment. You can make your mobile device your mindfulness device by utilizing it to set reminders that go off through the day that motivates you to remain in the moment. When your tip goes off, just stop whatever you are doing for 30 seconds or so and focus your consciousness on the present moment. Check in with yourself and ask yourself about how you are feeling mentally and physically, and what you are thinking about. Mindfulness is really all about accepting, non-critical, and open. So respect yourself and curious about your experience. You could notice throughout these times that your head is all finished up and worrying about the future. Make sure that you use these moments as a chance to return to the present moment. Remind yourself that no matter what happens in the future, you are going to have the ability to manage it. After all, you always have been able to deal with whatever life has thrown at you. Just practicing this several times a day should cause you to be more present overall, and you are going to likely see a decrease in any persistent fretting. While there are numerous ways to slow down and be more present, the key to reducing the concern is remembering the importance of doing so. Chapter 5: How to Become More Conscious in Your Everyday Life. The practice of mindfulness, directing all of your attention and consciousness to the present, can bring many benefits to your psychological and physical health, as well as to the relationships in your life. Among its many benefits, practicing everyday mindfulness can pull you out of the negative down spiral that can be caused by way too much daily tension, too many tiffs, or the routine of rumination. Help you make less mistakes when processing your experiences. Help you put difficult events into perspective and build strength, so you are less overwhelmed by them in the future. And even though there are a lot of mindfulness things that you can practice regularly. Learning how to be present in the moment is also a lifestyle. With practice, you can learn to live a more conscious life that permits you to get more mindful of every little thing that you are doing. It can be hard in today's busy world to pause and exist, however. After all, there are many things contending for your attention, and there is a lot of pressure to multitask. However, if you are intentional about being more mindful at the time of your everyday life, you can live with greater purpose and more happiness. Practice mindful eating. Whether you eat while you scroll through your phone or you grab food for psychological comfort, meaningless eating is pretty common, and it can contribute to a host of problems, like overindulging and taking in way too much sugar. Practice becoming more conscious about how you fuel your body. Resist the desire to multitask while you eat. When you eat, exist with your food. Pay more attention to each bite that you're taking. Chew your food slowly and appreciate the taste. You may notice your body's signals about when you are getting full and pay more attention to what's on your plate. When you become more deliberate about what you're eating, you'll be better equipped to concentrate on fueling your body with the nourishment it needs. Be mindful in your interactions. Whether you're interacting with your partner, your kids, or an associate, conscious interactions are essential. Mindfulness in a relationship is all about observing what the other person is doing in a non-judgmental way. It's also about staying present in the moment throughout your discussions. So instead of scrolling through your phone while you're with somebody, give them your undistracted attention. And rather than crafting your counterclaim while they are sharing their viewpoint, seek to truly hear their message. You can become more conscious by taking note of the way you are feeling, listening thoroughly, and learning to respond to others in a more conscious way, rather than reacting out of anger. Participate in activities mindfully. Do you ever have a tough time recalling whether you cleaned your hair already when you're in the shower? Or do you at times forget why you walked into a specific room? Those are signs that you have a lot of things going on in your mind and you aren't being mindful. Thankfully, you can improve at this, and there are many opportunities to practice throughout the day. Walking, gardening, eating chocolate, and many other activities can be chances to practice mindfulness. You just have to perform them with a heightened sense of awareness. This means concentrating on the present moment, tuning into physical feelings, being fully aware of every little thing that you do, and releasing thoughts of the future or anxiety over the past. Think of cleaning up the home, for example. Start by viewing your work as a positive event, a workout in self-understanding and tension relief, instead of simply as a task. Then, as you clean, fixate on what you are doing as you are doing it, and nothing else. Feel the warm, soapy water on your hands as you wash dishes. Experience the vibrations of the vacuum as you push it over the floor. Enjoy the heat of fresh from the dryer laundry as you fold it. Feel the freedom of releasing unwanted objects as you put them in a box for contribution. Another opportunity to practice mindfulness in your everyday life is when you're listening to music. Really concentrate on the sound and vibration of each note, the feelings that the music stir up in you, and other in-the-moment experiences. Throughout your day, search for opportunities to be more mindful, whether you're riding in the train or you're taking a hot shower. Try to be completely aware of what you're doing and what is happening around you. When your mind wanders, praise yourself for noticing and carefully bring your attention back to the present moment. Pause throughout the day. As you move from one activity to the next throughout the day, it can be rough to stay conscious. You can get back on track by pausing throughout the day to practice several standard mindfulness workouts. You may make it a practice to spend some minutes being mindful at certain times of the day, like during meals or when you're getting in the automobile. Or you may schedule a time to practice meditation or yoga. You can also make it a habit to practice concentrating on your breathing when you are upset or restless. Breathing methods can have a calming influence and help you stay grounded in the present moment. Progressive muscle relaxation is another exercise that you may practice throughout the day. Just work on tensing and unwinding your muscles, one muscle group at a time. With practice, you will learn to recognize when you're tensing up certain parts of your body. Mindfulness takes practice and effort. Nobody is good at it when they initially begin. Your mind is very likely to roam repeatedly. But, with practice and patience, you will get a lot better, and eventually, you'll recognize that you are living a more conscious life and you will be free to enjoy benefits, like decreased tension, better mental health, better relationships, and greater overall joy. Chapter 6. How to eliminate job stress after work. Tons of us take our jobs home with us without recognizing it. Work could be difficult, but when we're supposed to be unwinding, from the minute we leave the office till the next morning when we return, we usually let job stress seep in instead of making the most of our non-work lives. There are many reasons that we do this, but there are more important reasons why we can and should learn to stop. Listen on to acquire a higher understanding of how clever people unknowingly amplify job stress and how you can leave work at work as much as you possibly can. That can reduce your stress levels and increase your general happiness. How we take work home. We think about it during our commute. The drive home from work could be a time to enjoy the flexibility of being off the clock. Or it can be a time to ruminate about the tensions of the day, replay disappointments in your mind, and think about everything that's weighing on your shoulders as you fight road rage till you reach home. All too frequently, people select the latter choice when the previous, letting the drive home be a freeing experience, is so much more beneficial. The issue is that this can magnify stress levels so that they're even higher after the commute home than they were at the end of the workday. If this seems like you, now is the time to take the reins and make your commute a time to brush off the tension of the day. In the coming week, Try to really see your thoughts and practices as you drive home if you're not already aware of them. Do your best to use commute time as a transition time, during which you reset and refocus. You could see it as having some me time to get ready for what you are going to walk into when you go home. We vent about job stress to our loved ones. Complaining about work to a loved one is a typical activity of people with difficult jobs. It feels proficient at the moment, but might take a toll with time. While keeping emotions bottled up isn't an optimum answer, when we spend what could be quality time with loved ones concentrated on all the stresses of the day, we lose more of our day to job stress. The more time that we focus on work, the less time we are being mindful and present and enjoying the moment. Plainly, the less time we can spend grumbling about work, the more time we'll have focused on things that make us happy. Today, try to notice how much time you spend complaining about work and see if this is the right amount of time for you. We ponder about tough colleagues. It's extremely natural to look for psychological support when handling challenging coworkers. Still, just like job tension venting in general, focusing way too much on the tension created by hard colleagues can rob us of the pleasure of our non-work lives. If you find yourself spending non-work hours obsessing over, replaying, and even thinking about the stress that your colleagues bring to your work life, it is time to assess if this is the best way to spend your time and decide how to stop if you really need to. We worry about work rather than relaxing. If you have to deal with a heavy load of stress on the job or have the sort of career that requires significant troubleshooting, it can be tough to shut down the brainstorming part of your brain when you leave work. This is especially true for the ones who work from home. And if finding solutions is fun for you and it doesn't cut into your personal life way too much, it might not be an issue. It might be more of a hobby to think of new ideas for your work, particularly if your work feels more like a calling to you and not just a job. Nevertheless, if you find yourself worrying or ruminating over problems at work, it's best to leave that burden at work. Do not stress. It'll be there when you get back. Most people who are not able to leave work at work have sleep problems, simply because they're replaying every little thing in their mind, and their mind is not able to shut off enough to go to sleep. If worrying about work is interfering with your relaxation or sleep time, consider doing a brain dump or writing an order of business or worry log as part of your bedtime or relaxation routine. We beat ourselves up over this. If all of this is sounding a little too familiar, do not let it worry you. It's relatively common to tense about work when you are not at work, so don't blame yourself. You should focus instead on how to brush off stress and enjoy your life when you are not at work. How to leave job tension at work. Tie up loose ends before you leave. One of the first and best ways you can leave job tension on the job is to prepare yourself before you leave. To reduce after-hours troubleshooting, prepare a to-do list for yourself when you return the next day. This can enable you to come in and feel concentrated, and it can enable you to leave and feel that things are looked after as much as they can be until tomorrow. If you are prone to stressing about unsolved problems when you get home, you may even take it a big step further and create a list of possible options to any issues you think might follow you home. Then, you can remind yourself you've considered it as much as you can, and now you really need to take your mind off of things and sleep on it. Things will be brighter when you go to work again the next day. Knowing that you can help to leave things there and not take that emotional baggage with you. Create a post-work routine. Just as it helps children unwind and go to sleep when they have a bedtime ritual, having a post-work ritual is a great way to help yourself relax after a stressful day of work. Even better, it can be a way to produce a mental habit of unwinding your mind and letting go of job tension after a long day of work. Your regimen might include something easy, like taking a deep, cleaning breath as you walk out and deliberately reminding yourself that you have now left work, both physically and mentally. One martial arts master recommends taking a deep cleansing breath, shaking out your limbs, and psychologically leaving your concerns at the door. It can involve mentally reviewing what you're eagerly anticipating in the rest of your night, or texting a loved one and refocusing your attention to your life. Experiment and see what suits you best. Whatever works for you, it's good to make it a routine and keep doing it. Enjoy your commute home. The ride home from work can be stressful if you keep replaying the stresses of the day or letting traffic stress you out even more. With some planning, you can make your commute home into an experience you eagerly anticipate, rather than another challenge to conquer before you can relax. One way to optimize your commute time is to listen to audiobooks, either fiction for fun or nonfiction in an area where you'd like to grow. Listening to music is also a recognized method for tension relief, and a basic one to do while sitting in an enclosed space. Mentally counting everything you have to be thankful for can not only make the time pass, but can get you into a more positive state of mind and prime you to appreciate your loved ones more when you get home to them. What to do when you arrive at your home. Create a soothing home environment for yourself. Simply because we spend so much of our non-work hours at home, it is very important to have a house environment that relieves your stress instead of one that leaves you feeling more stressed and tired than it should. Because clutter has a subtle but extremely real influence on our stress levels, it pays to declutter as regularly as possible. If your home is a sanctuary from tension, it's simpler to let job tension melt away once you arrive. Treat yourself. Think about those little deals within life that put a smile on your face, and get more of them into your day. Those little happiness boosters, referred to as satisfactions by psychologists, can raise your state of mind in a measurable way and lower stress at the same time. It can be a cup of tea, your preferred comedy, a long walk with a loved one, a calming bath, or anything else that brings you a bit of pleasure. Try to blend them up so that you have a little bit of newness to them and you'll enjoy them a little more. You really deserve it. Cultivate mindfulness. Research suggests that those that have a mindful perspective are more able to fixate on the present moment and turn their focus from the tension of the past or anxiety over the future. This translates into a greater ability to let job tension remain at work and enjoy the time you have each night and weekend to just enjoy life. Practicing mindfulness workouts can increase your ability to maintain this present moment perspective, so they are highly advised for eliminating post-job stress as well as for building resilience to tension. Employ support. If you really need to discuss the important things that stress you at work before you can release them, it helps to have an encouraging individual who will listen and help you to let go of the tension. Depending on what helps you the most, this could be somebody who verifies your emotions and helps you to refocus, who helps you to brainstorm and troubleshoot, or who lets you vent and turn your disappointments into laughter. Getting support can also involve having somebody to carefully remind you to refocus your thoughts and energy if you start getting bogged down by stressful thoughts of work. Ultimately, if you're feeling overwhelmed by job stress, employing help can mean talking to your physician about stress or finding a very good therapist who can help you to come up with coping methods that work or a new plan that you have. Make your non-work time count. Finally, one of the most fun and effective ways to leave job tension on the job is to truly fixate on making the rest of your life something deserving of your attention and engaging enough to take your mind off of tension if you really need it to. This means creating enough balance in your life to include free time and hobbies. It means cultivating healthy relationships to help you feel satisfied and take your mind off of stress. It means creating healthy routines to alleviate stress, as well as setting goals that excite you and going for them. Or at times, it can just mean taking pleasure in the present moment, whatever you do. Chapter 7. Fitting it into your busy schedule. At times, the largest obstacle in learning a new ability or practice like meditation is learning how to fit it into your routine. Most everybody has those days when it is a feat to even have showered, not to mention setting time aside to sit quietly and meditate. Here, you're going to learn how to fit your meditation practice into your busy day, perhaps when you really need it the most. Give the skills laid out below a try for 1 week. Consider it a 1-week experiment in learning how to take what you've learned into the real world. Make a dedication to follow these basic steps every day of the week. What you will do. A really good meditation practice does not end when the timer goes off. Too often, once a meditation session stops, it might only take moments before you get caught up in the tensions and routines of the day, and a lot of the benefits of having actually had meditated are eliminated. Meditation needs to not be seen as a momentary break, but rather a transformative process that enriches your life and the lives around you. Today, we will work on bringing meditation off the cushion and into the rest of your life. How it works. By including brief reminders or mini practices into your day, you can maintain some of the benefits of meditation all day. By utilizing a few simple strategies to attain a quick meditative state, you'll be able to work your meditation practice into your daily activities to achieve lasting calm and focus. Get motivated for the week. With these practices, you will be able to evoke a meditative state, nevertheless brief, anytime you really need some calm or creative skill in your life. Doing meditations in a range of environments will help you stay focused and in control of your mind. You won't be as affected by impulsive feelings, and you will have the ability to focus more on what you wish to do. The steps to practice meditation every day. Below are 6 methods for working meditation and the mindfulness that comes with it into your everyday life. Try at least one of these every day this week to find what works best for you. Chore meditation. Any repeated task can be turned into a meditation just by including a focusing element. You can count your breaths while cleaning counters, folding laundry, or washing windows, for instance. Any kind of chore that is automatic in nature and doesn't require decision-making while you are doing it works well. Take a minute for mindfulness. Walking meditation. While taking a walk, link your breathing with your steps. A conventional walking meditation practice, made popular by Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh, is to take a step with each breath. This slow walking meditation practice can be really effective. If you don't have the time or place for slow walking, then just breathe with every 2 or 3 steps while walking down the hall, across a parking area, or in a shop. Workout meditation. Turn exercise into meditation by focusing your mental energy on your body. Picture the push and pull of your muscles. Feel how your body gracefully gets used to your movements. Be amazed at your balance. Even better, try an exercise program that is rooted in breath and mindfulness, like Tai Chi or yoga. 2 breaths. Taking 2 basic, conscious breaths can engage your meditative state at any point in the day. Take 2 breaths before making a telephone call. responding to an email, or beginning your vehicle. This is a great way to bring meditation into your day dozens of times, particularly in the middle of a busy or demanding day when you really need it the most. Sound cue. Choose a particular sound and take 2 breaths each time you hear it. Generally, monks would do this when they heard the wind chimes and the bells of the temple. Choose a sound that takes place frequently in your setting. You could take a 5-second pause in your thinking whenever you hear another person's mobile phone, for example. Transitions. Shifts are times when you move from one setting to another. Getting home from work, for example, is a transition from your professional self to your personal self. Entering into some meetings, you might transition into a completely different personal style in order to get something done. Lunchtime might be a transition for you as well. Generally, monks would pause whenever they crossed a limit and transitioned from one room to another. Pick several shifts in your life, like getting into your automobile, walking into your workplace and opening your front door, and take a 5-second meditative time out before going into the new setting. Perhaps you are going to even make opening a particular computer system program or checking your email a transition. Your meditation commitment today. This week, I'll try at the very least one of these quick meditation practices every day. Tips. Do not be tempted to replace these practices for your day-to-day meditation. You must maintain your everyday practice of sitting and focusing. That habit will allow you to use these practices effectively. You develop your meditation muscles by sitting and focusing. Those new applications are about using that new strength in your life for an additional boost. In the beginning, try to pick practices that you can do when you are alone. It is tough to take 2 conscious breaths while speaking to a person, or perhaps when you are in a scenario where others can watch you. Your automobile is a great place for a bit of personal privacy. While you are working on your computer system or doing laundry are also great times for these meditation moments. Look at an anatomy book and admire the body. As you go through your day, you can do an exercise meditation that concentrates on whatever your body is doing. You could simply be walking, typing, or going up the stairs. Picture how the muscles and nerves work. Respect your own body. If you want to do more, try developing a mindfulness practice. In mindfulness, the idea is to be familiar with whatever you are doing. The opposite of mindfulness is an automatic action. Pick something you do usually during the day, like opening a door. Can you understand yourself unlocking each time? Are you truly present as you open up the door? Are you knowledgeable about your hand on the door opening, your body crossing through, and the door closing behind you? Or is it an automated process without awareness? Develop your mindfulness abilities by picking something that you do usually and trying to be knowledgeable about yourself doing it each time. It's a lot harder than it sounds, and it takes practice. This has been Mindfulness. Prevent worrying and anxiety with mindful thinking. Written by Erica Showdown. Narrated by Sarah Margrave.